What's up guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and allow me to be the first to introduce you to my brand new Smite Priest on Primal WoW. That's right, I've been leveling and gearing up this character for some time now, and now that I've finally got the gear that I wanted, it's time to see if rolling as a Smite Priest actually works right here on Primal WoW. So the spec I'm using is a mix between Discipline and Holy. Basically it's built around getting some points in mental strength in the Discipline tree, and then going for spiritual guidance in search of light in the Holy tree. It's still a bit of a work in progress, but as of right now this seems to work okay. So we're once again doing a classic entry-level raiding instance, which is zul'gurub, and I do like to point out that I'm using raid consumables, which are brilliant wizard oil, flask of supreme power, and some spell power food. You know, basic raiding consumables. So the first boss we did was High Priestess Yeklik, and I pulled off a steady 581 DPS. Not too shabby for our first go. I also noticed I went out of mana super quick because I was using Devouring Plague and Shadow Word Pain in my rotation, so I decided to ease on those two on the next fight. After that it was time for High Priestess Venusus, where I did a total of 567 DPS on average. With High Priestess Marley I managed to stay very close to my previous DPS numbers with a total DPS done of 566.2. Moving on to Takal, I did a little less than the previous bosses, pulling a total of 518.8 DPS. It probably had to do with the several knockbacks that this encounter has, which kind of messes up your rotation. Next up is High Priestess Arlok, where I pulled almost the exact amount of DPS that I did on Takal, with a total DPS done of 518.9 DPS. Time for Jindo the Hexer, and on this boss I did a much more impressive 625.6 DPS, mainly because of the RNGs smiling down on me with some lucky crits, and the fact that I pull some nice AoE damage because of these skeletons that spawn during this fight. Moving on to Hakar, and this is where the spec started to show its flaw: lack of mana. I was doing fine at the beginning of the fight, but about halfway through I had no mana left, even after taking a mana potion, so my DPS dwindled down to an average of 453.5 DPS. The last boss we did was Or Manicure. Now this fight revolves a lot around LOSing the boss and dying from charges, so I wasn't expecting any huge numbers here, but surprisingly I did manage to keep up an average of 512.3 DPS. So the average DPS I did of all those bosses combined is 542.91 DPS, and if I look at the total damage done, that includes DPS I pulled during trash mobs, I managed to do an average of 558.4 DPS. Now this might not seem too bad, but there are some problems. First of all, I should be doing much more DPS looking at the gear that I have. Second, there were a few Shadow Priests in the raid that I attended, and they were always above me in terms of DPS. Third, the running out of mana is a big issue. Does that make this spec completely worthless? Well, not really. It does work okay for short fights, but be prepared to always get beaten by any other caster class with the same amount of gear. I'll definitely be staying Smite spec for some time. It's a fun little spec that allows you to do something out of the ordinary. If I ever intend to seriously start raiding though, I'm much better off being a Shadow Priest. Well, that's it for now for the Smite Priest. You might see more of this character in the near future. As always, I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm Hamsterwheel, and have a good one.